Hey, I'm Suzanne Tickmeyer of No Longer Quivering. Tonight, it's late here and it's rather dark in my bedroom, but I've been having so many people asking me about Katie Joy of Without a Crystal Ball. And I've ranted about her so many times on this channel that I thought tonight I would sit down and explain to everybody my history with her. I did it on my personal blog. I may at some point do it on my NLQ blog on No Longer Quivering. I do have the go ahead from Patheos, but I'd rather not do that. I would rather not bring that hot mess over to NLQ. I met Katie a couple of years ago, maybe three, when well, not quite three. I was in this house, so it could not have been more than about 2.5 years ago when she came on to Patheos to do Without a Crystal Ball, her own blog. She came on. We were told she would be talking about the issues of having a medically fragile child and not being a believer. We were told that. Hey, so we were all cool with that. There's a lot of people on Patheos. We got a lot of people in our non-religious channel. Some of them I agree with, some of them I don't. I actually only have two people I've ever had drama with. It was such minor drama, it was ridiculous. One is a guy that uses his Patheos channel to cruise for women. I just removed myself from the situation. The other is a lady that writes not just a blog for Patheos, she writes a pro-Christian blog, an anti-Christian blog. She's got like 7 or 8 blogs that are all monetized. And she writes under all these different names. Those are the only two people I've ever had any problems with at Patheos, even in the religious section. So Katie Joy came on, except she wasn't going by Katie Joy. Then she was calling herself Catherine Pearson. Okay, I believe that was it. I don't know, I'm old. My brain goes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Anyway, I'm going back to Katie Joy. She came on to Patheos. It was suggested to me that I help her out some or talk to her at very least. She contacted me. I started talking to her some. And we kind of bonded. We bonded because I had a child that was medically fragile most of her childhood. My youngest daughter had ITP, idiopathic thrombocytic purpura, I guess is how it's pronounced. Basically, her platelets would die off. And she almost died several times. We had all kinds of problems with her from the time she was 4 until her late teens. So I kind of had a suspicion what Katie's thing was. I knew what it was like to have a child that you sometimes had to do all kinds of crazy things for. You had to run here and there. You had to hover over them. For me, that was the worst thing, was being constantly frightened and hovering over my child. So when Katie and I first started talking, we kind of bonded over that. Then she started writing. Let's face it, no one's ever going to become a millionaire writing for Patheos, especially now that it's owned by BeliefNet. They don't pay as well as they used to do. We don't get the hits we used to. We don't rank in Google like we used to. So none of us are making much money. For me, I'm happy enough to have enough money to buy yarn. So Katie's blog kept changing. She kept changing it. First, she changed to the free birth movement. She started fighting with the free birthers. And I told her, I said, do not do that. Those people are little Looney Tunes. And it's just going to drive drama and crazy. And you're going to get death threats and stupidity. I know, because I did that. I made that mistake once at NLQ. Never again. I leave those people alone. So then she changed to celebrity gossip. And she kept changing the blog focus all the time. And I remember sitting back and thinking, I wonder how Patheos Central has taken that. Because they basically like it when you do your job, you stay in your lane, and you bring hits. And you don't cause them any trouble. If you cause them trouble, you're gone. Deleted her video yesterday because she talked about her son. Oh, yeah. Even though that's what she talked about when I first knew her. That was her entire rap, was her son, the issues of dealing with that. And he had a feeding tube. We talk about that too. That's when you have a child that has a feeding tube, that's a whole different set of circumstances. So one of the things I noticed about Katie pretty quickly is that she wanted to be complimented all the time from our she still does, yes. She wanted to be complimented all the time from our main editor, Dale McGowan, who Dale knows about all this too, by the way. And Dale, he would not do that. Now, she would not participate in some of the group chats and the groups that we had. She didn't have any extra activities. Like I mod a couple of Patheos related things for Patheos on Facebook. She would not participate, but she wanted to be stroked. Oh, I agree with you, Crazy Christy, for Ransom. It is a shame the way she treats and talks about that, because she could do a lot of good if she just talked about the issues of having a medically fragile child, having a child with a chronic illness. Because those of us who've done it know how incredibly hard it is. It's heartbreaking. Oh, open to the public yesterday. Yep, she tends to do that. She hops around. So with Patheos, I don't know for sure what happened. All I know is that she was gone, and it was very contentious. I did see some correspondence between her and Phil Fox and others up there, where it was pretty obvious that she was being kicked to the curb for being a problem. She would complain to me all the time about Dale not complimenting her and her writing and the number of hits she was bringing in and all this stuff. Yet she wouldn't participate in what was going on. Well, like I said, we even had like back channels where Patheos authors in our little group would talk about what was going on, pick on each other, goof around, stuff like that. She's never participated. She never participated at all. She just kind of showed up and wanted to be proclaimed queen. So when she finally went over from Patheos, I knew it had been contentious and bad because they immediately deleted her content. I've only seen that happen one other time on Patheos. Usually when you leave Patheos, your contract states that they own your content. You and they own it together, and it stays up. So the only other times I've seen that happen, it's been when somebody's been fighting with the powers that be, which is never smart when you're working for an organization. Never smart at all. And I'd heard there were some kind of problems with writing about things and maybe not totally researching it too. There were a number of issues, is all I really know for sure. All I know is she is gone and they removed everything. That should tell you a lot. I tried to keep talking to her every now and then because we did have some overlap. I wasn't real happy when she moved on to doing Quiverful and the Duggars because that's kind of my lane. And I don't do everything. I don't talk about everything with the Duggars because there's so many damn Duggar rumors. Every time we turn around, there's something dumb. I saw something dumb today. I saw some speculation about the Pray the Gay Away camp. I just did not want to go there. There were kids in that group that did go. I don't see what the purpose is of outing whichever ones there are, or even naming the camp. But we talked about that. We talked about all kinds of stuff. Yeah, she is always fighting over the Duggars, and listening to all kinds of rumors. So November this last year, she was really PMing me hard over the Duggars, and I was starting to get kind of annoyed with her. There was a lot going on. We were both hearing rumors from people we knew in the area that a branch of the federal government was there investigating something to do with the Duggars. I kept hearing it had to do with possible trafficking of children or porn. Now, I've never seen anything to indicate that. The only thing I can say for sure now is that it was Homeland Security was investigating Josh's business, and they shut it down, and the investigation is supposedly still active. What that means, who knows, until somebody actually comes forward and declares what happened with that. She was bugging me a lot about them. A lot. She kept asking me, so I decided after she had used a few things I told her that I would kind of catfish her a little bit because I was starting to get kind of irritated with her at that point because she was constantly talking about people harassing her. She talked about Steve McRae. when she would go into all these people are stalking me crap, I would just go, oh dear, or oh, I'm so sorry, or are they crazy? I wouldn't say anything real about it. I would just make polite noises whenever she would talk about being stalked. I knew she had the flair for the drama, so I just ignored that. So I fed her a couple of fake rumors for fun, just to see what she would do. A couple of fake Duggar things. She published them and did not give me any credit. So I was like, I see the cut of your jib right now. So I went ahead and blocked her. I had a lot going on. Didn't feel like listening to her. Last year I had a stroke, so I haven't been the most pleasant person to be around. My husband can tell you I turned nasty for a while. My stroke was kind of silly. Oh, thank you. So I didn't hear from her. And then she pops up under another name, PMing me again, sometime after this whole stupid pandemic thing happens. I talked to her a little bit about that. I talked to her a little bit about what was going on. She kept complaining about Steve McRae and others again. I'm just kind of like, oh, you poor thing. Nothing sincere, and trying to pick my brain about the Duggars again. Well, I didn't have any more information on the Duggars at that point than she did. I knew the name of the camp the kids had gone to. I knew which kids had gone. We had talked about that. She asked me if I would come on her live feed and talk about that. And I said, sure. I'll come on, no problem. Well, here's the problem. I have mast cell. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that, but it fits in with my daughter's thing. We both have problems with bleeding disorders, which is why I had a stroke. So we both have problems with our blood, various things. Mine manifests in horrible asthma. So when she asked me to be on, I said, pick a day, pick a time, let me know, and we'll set it up. She said, okay, this day, this time, this is what we're doing. This is what you need to do to show up. So we planned it out. And I said, fine, I'm having really bad asthma right now, so I'm going to have to get up early that morning. I'm going to have to push a lot of meds in order to be able to do this. And I did. I did all of that so that I could be on the stupid show. I double medicated. I got up early. I drug my butt around and did all the things she requested. And she stood me up. I tried messaging her. She ignored me. So I was hurt. I was really hurt because, well, I didn't consider her my best friend or anything. I thought we were friendly. I just didn't know. And so I didn't really say anything. I said something to a couple of friends at Pathy. I said, yeah, I can't believe she did that to me. And then I had a couple more friends like Andrew Hall asking me about it. He does Laughing in Disbelief, and he'd had Katie on and said, what happened between the two of you guys? So I told him. Then people started PMing me, and started PMing me and telling me that she had been quoting me for forever and using content that I'd given her and things I'd said. And I went back and looked at some of her videos, and she completely misquoted me on so many things. She had misnamed things, misnamed people, misunderstood theology, and she had like even misnamed books, like Michael Pearl's book, To Train Up a Child. She kept calling it Train a Child or Train Up a Child. She does no research. It dawned on me at that point. I was hurt before, but when I discovered that, I went from hurt to furious. I went furious, and I started taking the occasional swing at her here. I started taking the occasional swing at her on my own personal blog, not on NLQ, but those two places I did. And then everybody and their brother started contacting me. I talked to Steve. I talked to Sherelle. Oh, I didn't talk to Sherelle. I just had some back and forth where I sent her the screen caps. But I talked to a lot of people who've been hurt by her and all the things she said and done. And I realized this person only wants money and clicks. She told me over and over and over again in many of our talks that she didn't mind the drama because the drama draws the eyeballs. See, I never wanted any part of that. I'm peace loving. I got my own thing going here. I've been with Pathos 10 years. 10 years writing every single day. I don't have time for that nonsense. I still don't have time for this nonsense. But she just kept on. So she said she likes drama because it drives it. I talked to Steve and he seemed genuinely sweet, and I could see where he was frustrated with her and what had gone down there. I could see what had gone down with so many people and that she wasn't actually very truthful at all. Not only did she not research, she was driving the drama, just like she said, Dale is paying attention to him. He met Meta on The Friendly Atheist and not me. She just kept on doing that stuff. So I turned against her at that point. Now I'm kind of in a space where I really don't care. I don't care what she says or does. I did get a huge laugh when she did about a video about me a couple of weeks ago, where she said I was making $50,000 a month, making up rumors and selling them to the tabloids about Josh Duggar. Oh my God, I wish that was true. If that was true, I don't know, I'd have this bedroom gold plated or something silly. I would be spending that money like I was balling. Trust me. Instead of saying, oh, do I have enough to order yarn this month? She just basically, no, she did blackmail Steve. She pulled a fast one on Steve to get him to settle. That's all I can say about that. I know what went down, and she played hardball. And why no one stands up to her, I don't know. Why no one. And Steve warned me, he said, if you talk about her in any way, shape, or form, she's going to come after you. I'm kind of like, big deal. I'm living in Costa Rica. Let her come after me. Let her come after me. She's not going to show up on my front gate. Jose, the guard with the gun, would shoo her away anyway. So I'm pretty much, I said before, I said I'm pretty much Teflon here. But what she has done is she has, besides doing some silly rumor videos that have no sense at all, she does silly stuff like every time I talk about her, even reference her or mention anything remotely like her in a video or on my blog, the next day I get oodles of spam emails with viruses attached, oodles of porn emails. I guess she thinks I'm offended by porn, which I am not. Porn is just porn. I'm neither offended nor in love with it. It is what it is. It has nothing to do with me. I don't care. And last week, it was really funny because I got something like 10,000 insurance quotes from my car, partial quotes, which meant she put in my name and my email address. I don't know for sure that it's her doing this or she's got her old buddies doing it, but Steve told me, and everyone has told me, Steve McRae, that with the great debate community, I think is his community now, is that if you cross her, she will take all these petty actions and will have all of her followers doing it too. And I can see that's true. Every time I do a video where I mention her, somebody puts porn links in the comments. And I just clean those off. I don't care about somebody getting on to me and telling me, I'm sure it was Katie. I'm going to post this after it ends. I will be very happy to do this. That's why I'm talking about this, because I've hinted around at it. I've gone after her every time she's talked about the Duggars and given inaccurate information. I've talked about her every time she's given inaccurate information on the pearls and to train up a child and blanket training and all of that. And I'll continue to do that. Every time she veers into my lane and gives very inaccurate information, I'm going to correct her. That's just how I am. And she is just going to have to live with me, or else stop doing those things or shut up. I mean, those are her options. She could sue me here, but it's going to cost her a pile of money. I'm a rich gringo living in Costa Rica, and I only own $75 here. Everything else I own is in my corporation. And Costa Rica, like the Grand Cayman Islands, protects their people with their corporations and their names and their money. They hide all that. You can't even subpoena it. So, Katie, if you want to spend $100K to get $75 out of me, you go for it, girl, because I am not going to stop you. I am just going to laugh. Plus, you'd have to sue me under Costa Rican law, which is very different than U.S. law. It's a very different standard. So, yeah, I don't know, Jesse. I don't know hardly any of these people that she's fighting with. I know a few of them. I've gone and looked at a few of them. Like, is it BBX boy? I've seen his videos. I feel sorry for him. The guy who's living in another Central American country. This other guy she was fighting with for a while. Comic book guy? I don't know. I'm getting them all confused. The only ones I know for sure are the few that I talk to. But I see her list. She fights with more and more people all the time. She spreads rumors. She's useless. I watched all that misinformation she was giving out when she had that thing on her forehead, which to me looked like MRSA. To my friend who's a nurse, she said it looked like a staph infection. Whatever it was, it's very dangerous. Don't do like Katie. If you ever get anything on your head, go to the doctor because your brain is only inches away. MRSA can spread, staph infection can spread, and you can be dead like that. That's even if you don't have a medically fragile child in your house. If you have a medically fragile child, you stand a high chance of passing that off to them. And you really do not want to do the MRSA protocol. I had to do that for 19 months, and it was no fun. Constant washing, constant bleaching, and it was a pain in the ass. I had to keep separate from everybody. I had to have separate dishes, separate towels, wash, bleach. It was just a pain in the ass. Oh, thank you, thank you. Anyway, so that's basically it. Katie's just I think she's just really immature. She doesn't know who she is. She's got some issues, quite obviously, and she takes them out on everybody around her. So I think the kindest thing we could do from now on is just not even mention her ass, except to correct her, because all you do when you talk about her and when you fight with her is you empower her to be even more obnoxious the next time. You feed her martyr baiting. It's just ridiculous. And I really don't want to have any part of that. I would love to see her get emotionally healthy. I would love to see her leave the internet because it's obvious it's a bad thing for her. It's gotten to the point where I'm hoping somebody reports her to Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil, BX Beast Boy. That's exactly who she was fighting with. It's nice young man. Anyway, let's not feed her. Let's try not to feed the troll. I shouldn't even say I shouldn't call her a troll. Let's try not to feed her because this attention that she's getting, positive and negative, is doing something bad for her. And it's reinforcing everything going on with her. You know, she really needs to get offline and spend some time with her child and take care of him. Because that's really job one, not the internet, not any amount of whatever. Anyway, you guys have a nice evening. I can't believe I talked so long. I normally can't talk more than 5 minutes because of the stupid asthma. So thank you all for showing up. I'm about to edit this just a teeny tiny bit and share it with the world. Y'all have a nice evening.